this is Ed Weiser, Reef Weiser on the forum, and I wanted to show off this new Marineland internal canister polishing magnum, they call it. Call it a polishing magnum. And what you want to use this for, or what I mainly use this for, is to get crystal clear water when I'm doing work on my aquarium. Like today, when you go down there, I'll have a cloudy tank because I just removed all the sand from my aquarium and wanted to get that all cleaned out. And it comes with this pleated filter. This is the pump. Don't mess with the mess. It's all. This is my upstairs aquarium bathroom, and it has one thing that's very important in here. Let me get into it. Let me get it out. In the bottom of this container is probably the most important little piece of this whole thing. If I can get it out, my hand's stuck to it. Get it off. Is this rubber gasket. Okay, this rubber gasket fits on the bottom center of this container, down at the bottom there. So it has to be sitting down there flush in that center, because what happens is it helps seal the container. Let me get it all, my hand out of the container. It helps seal the bottom of this filter when you put it in. So I want to make sure it's in there straight. I found this out the hard way because when I used it the first time, I didn't realize that gasket was even needed because I didn't see it in the box. It was in the box with everything else. In the box comes a small container of carbon. I'll open the box up here. Comes with a small container of carbon, and that you can also use with this filter here. This is the carbon filter it has a outside mesh on it that you can take off and clean, and then it comes with a small container of Marineland carbon, premium activated carbon. Comes a small can of that. I really don't ever use carbon that much because I'm worried about taking chemicals out of the tank. So what I mainly use is the polishing filter because it helps keep the water clean. My wife was just already asking me when I'm going to put the polishing filter back in the tank to get the tank water clean after this massive 2-hour removal of sand out of my aquarium. So here's the plated filter. This one's been used 3 times now. What I do after I get done with this is I take it to the sink, the whole unit, lift it out, take it to the sink, and then I clean it with my hands, running water over it forever and ever until I get it all off. And you can see still some stuff on there, but it's not that bad. So first thing you do is you put this down in here, seat it like that. This is the top. Here's the motor top, and we sit that down on top of it and secure it. And so it sits on there like that. There's a little bitty of a trick to it. It's got to be installed properly, and I'll show that. It's kind of hard to do with a phone in my hand, so I'm going to stop the video right now, and we'll put the. Okay, it just kind of, so it kind of just twists in. There's a twist to the top of this thing, and then it's installed. And now all you do is stick this down in the water and let all the bubbles come out. All the bubbles are coming out of it as the water. This is RO water. Let all the bubbles go out. Letting it get all out of there. This is just straight RO water in a bucket. Okay, now the next step is after you let all the water out in the RO bucket there, you want to add your diatomaceous earth. Now, where do you get diatomaceous earth? Well, you can get it online and Amazon or several different places online you can pick it up. But the easiest places to pick it up is just to go to a pool supply store in town. All pool supply stores will have diatomaceous earth. And diatomaceous earth is just basically diatom. It's a white powder, as you can see, just a white powder. Okay. Now this, they say in the directions that you want to add 1 teaspoon of the 6 teaspoons to your water. So what we're going to do now, we're going to add these 6 teaspoons of diatomaceous earth to this pump while it's running. So let me plug it in. Let me get down here and let's plug this bad boy in. Here we go. I'll plug it in the wall over here. Turn it the right way. Okay. Here's the water running. And what happens is that you level teaspoon diatomaceous earth. So I got a level teaspoon of diatomaceous earth and I add it to the water. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. Like I mentioned, I got this diatomaceous earth at the pool supply store in town, and it was a 50-pound bag for $25. Okay, so that's going to last me probably a lifetime now. And it's really pretty simple. I mean, basically what I'm doing now is I'm just studying it. You want to let it sit here and run, and what happens is that as the pump runs and sucks in the water, the diatomaceous earth is pulled into the filter system and sticks on the outside of the pleated filter. So what you do is you just sit here and wait for it to get clear water again. As you saw originally, it was clear water. So we're just going to let it run for a while, and I'll come back in a few minutes and see what it does. It takes a few minutes for all this diatomaceous earth to get into the filter, and sometimes I have to sit there, and I'll show you in a few minutes. I might want to stir up anything that's on the bottom of the water and bring it to the top and let it get into the filter. I'll try to get as much of that 6 tablespoons of diatomaceous earth into the filter as I can. It doesn't take too long. As you see, it's already clearing up quite a bit. So we'll just let it run for a few minutes, and I'll come back in a minute. Okay, we're ready to shoot again. Now it's 10 minutes after putting the diatomaceous earth into the water, and as you can see, the water is clear now. It's sucked up all the diatomaceous earth, the 6 in there, up. The whole bottom is clear, the diatomaceous earth. So it's ready to be installed in the tank. So what I do now is I'll turn the unit off and I'll put it in a bucket. I've got another bucket over here that's empty, and I'll take that bucket and I'll take it down and we'll install it in the tank. Okay, now I've got the filter in the tank. It just mounts on the side. It has a really good suction cups on the side of it, so it really holds it up there. And it's sticking in there, and I holds it up. So now I'm going to turn it on, and now it's on. And it'll just run for a while. it'll shoot out a little bit of air bubbles and stuff in here for a few minutes. Sometimes it'll shoot out for a while. I don't know, just the way it is. Try it different ways, and this is the best way to do it, is just like this. And it's running, so as you can see, the fish like that flow a little bit. They're running around, and it gives more flow. And so we're going to take up all this junk that's in the water here floating around, as you can see, and give it a few minutes, and we'll see what happens. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes since the aquarium has been this filter's been running, so you can see how clear the water has gotten in 20 minutes. I usually leave this on overnight just to make sure, and I also will go in and I'll take my turkey baster and blow around the bottom of this tank to make sure I get all the junk out of the water, all that's on the ground here. Fish is floating around, keeping this thing as clean as I can get it. So just wanted to show y'all what the Marineland clear filter is doing and how it works. And I enjoy it. Thank you. Here's a filter after it's been ran for 24 hours. This is what it looks like. You can see the diatomaceous earth on there, and it's kind of this diatomaceous-y, and all the water. You see the more diatomaceous earth down in there floating around, and there's that gasket that goes on the bottom of the filter. And then all you do is just run water through this and get this cleaned off. I'm going to turn on the water fountain here. And flip it off. I'll just do this for a few minutes so I get as much of it off, and it takes a few minutes to clean it. So I'll show you when it gets done. I'll show you what it looks like after I've cleaned it for a while here. I just did about 5 or 6 minutes of it. And you see, I got most of it off. It just looks a little bit lighter. You see the darker brown in there. Some of that comes off, some of it doesn't. So I try to get most of it off as I can. Then I just let this dry out good and keep it dried out. I'll put it in on my aquarium shelf out in the garage. Let it dry out real good for the next time I use it, and keep all the parts separated on the shelf and let them dry out. I washed out the end of this. I washed this all out good. Make sure it's clean. And I don't let any water stand in it. I clean all this off good to make sure it's all clean and dry, so it doesn't have any buildup. There's a little bit of foam in there. I'll wash that out. Turn it. I'll try to clean all this equipment up really good before I use it, so it's already ready to go for the next time I use it. So, okay, and that's pretty much it. That's the whole process of using a diatomaceous earth filter on your aquarium. I always recommend using one. It really is handy. It makes a big difference on the quality of the water in your tank. And it's one of those old-timer tricks that many of the young guys haven't ever tried before, and it's really worth the trouble to try it out. I think you'll really like it. Happy reefing!